Hello everybody, it's the Geek Guy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit different than what we usually look at on the channel. Today's video is going to be about I was about to say the one, the only, but there's been very many Godzillas, which you can probably gather from the fact that I've named the video Godzilla something or other. But this is a Godzilla toy, articulated figure from Bandai. Now, I picked these up at Walmart. Some of you might think, well, why am I reviewing this? Because this is super old at this point. But the funny thing is, I believe this released, I think like the copyright date on Godzilla here says 2009. But these just showed up at my Walmart, I think like 2 months ago. And they were completely out of stock except for King Kaizar. And then they came back in stock and I was finally able to snag this Godzilla because that's really like the only figure I had to have from this line. So let's take the figure out of the box. The box is very odd. From what I've seen. I've already removed these straps. Basically, it's just this cardboard box. It's hollow, except for the cardboard thing right there. And it's just like this, it reminds me of something like you would see like in a hobby shop for like trading cards, like if you bought Pokemon cards or something like that. It looks like a display box for that. But yep, just Godzilla. It's just tied in there with those straps. I've already removed her. I've already displayed her. I'm hoping to do some figure photography with this. Maybe post that on Instagram or something like that. We'll move her to one side and we'll take a look at the packaging. Now, the bottom, Bandai, 4-and-up, all that stuff, just says Godzilla in big, bold, blocky letters, and it has the destruction of Tokyo in it. Well, since this is a 50, 60 Godzilla, I'm going to say that's probably Tokyo. And then it has Japanese. I'm going to assume it says something like Godzilla, but I don't know because I don't speak or read Japanese. I believe that's Japanese. I can't imagine it not being Japanese. So turning the box around, we see some other figures in the set. Godzilla 1954, it says. So the very first Godzilla ever, I believe. King Kaizar, I can't tell you what film he's from. Probably Godzilla vs. King Kaizar or something aptly named. Millennium Godzilla, no idea where the heck he's from. And we got the same logo down here. We got more destructing buildings. Click them all. Oh, at my Walmart, I also saw Mothra. And I want to say that in this line, there's also Mechagodzilla and Rodan, for sure, I think. Those are the only two that I've seen, I think. But you imagine, there's so many Godzillas and stuff like that. I don't know too much about Godzilla. I'm just starting to kind of like get into it. I've only really seen I've seen the new one. I'm kind of doing this video in preparation of the new film, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I've only seen the 2014 one, the 1999 one, the, I think Godzilla 2000, something like that. And then there's like Godzilla Millennium or something like that. And there's Godzilla vs. King Kong. Godzilla vs. King Kong might be my favorite of the older ones. The classics, I believe. I believe that was like 1974-ish. I'm not sure. But anyway, these figures look super cool. I might pick them up depending. These figures were $11.97 at my Walmart. So, you can't find these online everywhere. I was looking at these figures for a few years because I always kind of like Godzilla, but they were like $40 on Amazon. It was ridiculous. So let's take the packaging out of here and instead let's have the big mama herself, Godzilla. And if you didn't know, I believe that Godzilla is a girl, because she has babies. She's a mommy Godzilla, which makes her more threatening if you think about it from a certain perspective, because there's one thing to anger Godzilla. It's another thing to anger Godzilla by hurting her children. And if you know anything about bears and dinosaurs, that just doesn't sound like a good idea. And Godzilla is basically a giant bear dinosaur. Now, this figure has no accessories, no gimmicks, no nothing. It's just a straight, chunky, rubbery figure of the 1954 Godzilla. So let's take a look at some of the details on her. She is sculpted in this really nice gray plastic. The texture of her, she doesn't, even though she's made of rubber, she doesn't feel like squishy, if you know what I mean. Like, it feels very solid. It feels like you could, you could hand this to a kid and they'd be able to have a ton of fun with it. Because it's, Godzilla, what kid wouldn't want to have tons of fun with this figure. But not a whole lot of detail, but then again, this was from the 1954. I believe the film was in black and white. You're not going to get a lot of eye-popping visuals on black and white television from the 50s. So the majority of the paint is done right here on the spine. You have like these spinal jags and spikes and stuff like that. This big one protruding right here has probably like lots of paint and stuff, and it's not picking up too well on camera. I don't have the best lighting, but that's like a seems to be like the same gray as this right here. So, and it goes all the way up and it kind of like fades out right here. And you got the mouth and eyes, which are painted, and honestly I figured these would be cross-eyed, but they look pretty good. They look pretty similar to the box. And now that I bring the box in, I'm wondering if that is not just a photo of the action figure. I think it might be actually just be a photo of the action figure rather than a photo from the film or the suit. But I can't tell. I think it might actually just be a photo of the action figure though. But either way. And then we got the mouth and eyes and the tail, and you got the fingernails painted, and you got the toenails painted. And, you know, the sculpt is very nice. You got all the detail on the skin. You got the big knees and thighs. Those are proportioned well. You got the spikes. The nice tail comes up. So let's move on to the articulation. Now, the very basic articulation. Articulation down at the tail, 360 degree right here. You got articulation up here at the arms, 360 degree rotation. I believe you're not going to be able to get 360 just because of that the protruding thighs. Let's see if we can get that one over here. Nope. Well, kinda. If you bent it a little bit. So you got those two arms right there. No head articulation, which would have been kind of nice because her big thing is the atomic fire breath or the atomic blast or something. And then she has articulation down here at the legs. It's kind of like you can make her sit, I guess. Not very well, but it'd be interesting to get maybe like some Barbie furniture and pose around with that. But honestly, this figure didn't need a whole lot of articulation. It just needed the ability to be manhandled by a kid and knock over crap. So if we take the box, you can just... I imagine that's how this figure is going to be played with. So you're not going to need a whole lot of articulation. And you know what? It does look really good. From what I can tell, it looks very much like the original Godzilla. It looks very faithful to it. And you could just stick this up on a shelf and it'd be perfect. I feel this would be perfect with the 2014 Godzilla set. I believe they got reused, and it's like these building pieces. Now, the 2014 Godzilla, there's like these little teeny tiny 4-inch scale action figures. So in the city, the buildings were like that. But I think if you did some perspective, you could get some great shots if you had a couple of those sets of her coming out of the water to those cities. But that'd be my recommendation. I might try something like that. I believe I have one or two of those sets. I believe I do. So be sure to check out my Instagram. I'll hopefully post some stuff with that, time permitting. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All that stuff can be found on the main page of my YouTube channel. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, show some love. Say what you're most looking forward to in Godzilla King of the Monsters, what monster you're most looking forward to. And also, somebody tell me whether or not that new King Kong with Dwayne Johnson is part of this, because I can never, ever remember. So, yep, hope you guys liked the video, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.